What's up, angels? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. So just a little trigger warning. I feel like I need to put this in the video even though it says in the title what I'm going to be talking about. So today I'm just going to be going through like my experience of coming off antidepressants. So if that is triggering to anyone, please then click away from this video now and you can see me in another video soon. Hang on. Okay, so this is a video that I said I'd make a couple of months ago. I did make one about coming down off my antidepressants, like lowering the dosage, but I said I would make one when I was completely off, which I am now. It has been 6 weeks and 1 day. So yeah, I think I've been off them long enough to like give you a little bit of a explanation of how I feel and what's been going on. Also, if the video is a little bit jumbled, I do find it kind of hard to like talk about and keep on one track when I'm doing things like this because it's not a prepared video. I struggle to like write down exactly what I want to say, so I find it easy to just sit in front of the camera and talk. So if it doesn't make sense at any point, I'm really sorry. So for those of you that haven't watched my previous video, let me give you a little bit of background. I was on Sertraline for about 5 years, and before that I was on Sertraline, which I really didn't get on with. But my Sertraline started on a 50mg dose and then it got increased up to 100mg about 2 years ago. Now, to be honest, when my dose got increased, I didn't really feel like a huge difference. I know a lot of people say that when the dosage gets increased, they like feel massively different and massively happier and their life is like so much better. I never really felt like that. I don't really feel like it made any difference to when I was on the 50mg dose, which was kind of worrying. Maybe it was something that was happening and I just didn't notice it. Like, I don't know, does that make sense? But I was taking them for like 2 years, and at the beginning of the year I decided that I'd had enough and I was sick of paying like £10 per prescription every 2 weeks, and I'd had enough basically of feeling like I was under this control of these tablets. But for those of you that have never been on antidepressants, I'll just let you know that if you forget to take it one day, like by the next day your body goes into mad withdrawal. Like I would get dizzy, I would feel sick, I would feel panicky and anxious and get like hot sweats. It was horrific, and I really felt like I was completely controlled by these tiny little tablets that were supposed to be making my life better. Now, I was never actually diagnosed with depression. I don't think I suffered with depression. I think it was more the anxiety side of it, and like I have social anxiety, which you probably aren't gonna believe when you see the job that I do. You know, I'm on YouTube and I'm all like happy and everything's amazing, but obviously that is just a little bit of a front. I think I was prescribed them. I keep saying I think because it was so many years ago I literally can't remember, and that's the worst thing of it. Like, it gets to the point where you've been on these tablets so long and you're just in the habit of taking them every single day that you almost forget why you actually have to take them, which just doesn't sound good at all. Like, I don't want to be putting anything into my body that I don't need. So anyway, I tapered down to 50mg, then I went down to 25. I think that was where I was in my last video. And then my doctor said I could go down to 12.5. My phone's going off, it's really distracting me. So I went down to 12.5mg, which is a really relatively small dose. It might be enough for some people. For me, I did it more so that I still had like something in my system so I wouldn't go through mad withdrawals. Although you still get withdrawal symptoms even when you're lowering your dose. My advice would be, if you're going to lower your dose, do it as slowly as possible. Like, I went down each step and stayed there for like 2 months and then went down another step if I felt okay. So after 2 months on 12.5mg, my doctor had said just try not being on them, and if you feel like you need to go back on them, if you're getting really bad withdrawal symptoms, then you can start taking the 12.5mg again. In my head, I was like, that is bullshit. If I want to come off these tablets, I'm not going back on them. So for me, it didn't matter how bad the withdrawal symptoms got. I knew I was not going to take them again. I almost wanted to prove to myself that I could beat it and be okay without them, which is stupid because there's plenty of people in the world that take these tablets every day and have done for years, and it really helps them. So I don't know why I developed this like real hatred to being on antidepressants. So anyway, I stopped taking them, and the first like 2 or 3 days I felt fine. I didn't really feel that different. I expected to feel like immediate withdrawal symptoms and I didn't. But by the end of the first week, this is going to sound really strange, but I don't know how else to explain it, I felt like my normal brain was coming back, and it was almost like I had to get used to who this person was, because it wasn't the same person I was when I was on antidepressants. I don't know if this makes any sense, but if you've been there, you'll probably know what I mean. And as this went on, like throughout the second week, I started feeling really like I wanted to become a recluse again, which is how I used to be. I didn't want to go out, I didn't want to speak to people, I didn't want to see people. I like my own company, and I think my social anxiety used to just take over. So for me, it was easy just to not go out. And I also started feeling really irritable. I'm a hot-tempered person as it is. It's not something to be proud of, but I am. But when I stopped taking these tablets, it made my patience level like that big. Like stupid things would just set me off. Like there was a day where I went to put the sauce back in the cupboard, and obviously I'd not put it in properly, and it like fell back out, and I just flipped my lid. Don't ask me why, because these are like normal things that happen to people on a daily basis, and I know it seems like I'm making a joke about it, but if I don't, I'll get very worked up. But my irritability level just went through the roof, and I think that's why I tried to stay away from people as well, because I thought it's not their fault that I'm really irritable. It's obviously because I'm coming off these tablets, my body's readjusting, my brain is like getting back to normal. I just felt like I was really struggling. And to be honest, if you follow me on social media, or if you subscribe to my channel, thanks if you are, then you will have noticed that I've not been about for the last probably 4 weeks. And that is because I haven't felt well enough to be about. Like I'm not sick, like I'm not physically poorly, but coming off your medication can make you feel physically ill. I think people think, oh, it's all in your head, and it's just not. When you've been taking meds like that, it can make you physically sick, it can make you dizzy and drowsy, and it sets your balance off and all of these different things. So I thought it would be best to just take a break, remove myself from the situation, and try and let my body and my brain readjust to not being on these tablets. That actually then had the adverse effects, because all that did was make my anxiety so much worse, because I would look at my YouTube stats and I would think, I've not uploaded in a week, I've not uploaded in 2 weeks. I would look on my Instagram, my social media, and I wasn't replying to messages. Now, you know, if you leave your messages to build up and up and up, you then end up with loads, and it becomes really overwhelming. So it actually made it 100 times worse for me, which is why I'm sat down today filming this video. I actually put a post on my Instagram this morning basically just saying I'm sorry for being, you know, MIA for weeks, but I needed to take a little break. And I also said, does anybody else feel like sometimes it all gets too much and you have to take a break from social media? And let me tell you, 100% of you, 100% of the people that voted on that poll on my Instagram said yes. Yes, they feel like it gets too much and they have to take a break. So in a nutshell, to like round it up, I feel like I was better on the medication. I feel like my brain was more regulated. I sort of knew what I was going to get more. My moods were like more like this, whereas now they're kind of like this. And it's hard to deal with when you have a job where you have to motivate yourself and you have to keep yourself like in order. Because of the job I do, if I wake up and I feel really shitty, I am almost able to just lay in bed all day, or just sit on the sofa all day, or procrastinate, or not get anything done. And for me, that's the worst. Like, I really need somebody like putting a rocket on my arse and making me work. So I think I would find it easier if I had a 9 to 5 where I knew you have to be here at this time, you get to leave at this time, and afterwards you can do what you want. I hope all of this is making sense, and obviously this is just a personal experience. Now, saying that, I'm not planning on going back onto my antidepressants. I do like the fact that what I'm seeing and what I'm thinking at the minute is like clear. You get clarity when you're not on them. I found that my visions almost were kind of hazy when I was on my tablets, which was lovely because you just sort of float around in this like daze, but it didn't feel like real life, and that kind of panicked me because it made me realise that the last time I lived in the real world was like 5 years ago. So I've never actually known my normal brain as an adult without antidepressants. So basically, if you're thinking of coming off antidepressants, I would definitely talk to your doctor, and I'm going to go back and talk to my doctor again and just sort of have a chat with him and see what he thinks, if this is like normal. In terms of like withdrawal symptoms, I didn't have any brain zaps, which is amazing. If you don't know what they are, Google them. They're a really, really common side effect of antidepressant withdrawal. They're not often time. Also, I used to have night sweats really bad and really, really bad nightmares, and they do seem to have eased a lot since I came off my antidepressants. I didn't actually realise that that was a symptom of taking them, but since I stopped taking them, that's gone, so that's amazing. My anxiety at the minute is a lot worse, but I think that is because I've only just stopped taking them and I'm still adjusting to like normal brain life. But I do feel proud of myself that I've managed to stop taking them, and I've also managed to do it during this whole COVID weird crazy world that we're in at the moment. So I am going to give myself a pat on the back for that. I am proud of myself for that. Hang on. I don't know if this rambling video will have been of any help to anyone, but if it has, please leave me a comment down below. Also, please let me know your experiences coming off of antidepressants, etc. In my last video, I had some really, really nice comments from people, and I know that it helped me reading them, so I'm sure it will help other people reading them too. So I really appreciate everybody that commented on my last video. If you're struggling, feel free to send me a message on Instagram. It might take me like 3 to 7 working days to reply. It might take me 2 weeks, but I will reply to you. I do my best to reply to every single message that I get on there, so give me a follow on there, send me a message if you need any help. I'm not great at advice, but I will try. So as always, I hope my little rant has helped someone. Make sure you are all staying safe, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.